And welcome to the December 20th, 2019 meeting of Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. Ms. Marsh, please call the roll.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Here.
Mr. Hurd?
Here.
Mr. Phelan is absent. Mrs. Russell? Here. Mayor Cole?
Here. All right, moving on in the agenda. There are no presentations. Are there any, next on the agenda is reports from volunteers. Are there any reports or comments from any volunteers serving our community?
Anybody?
Next on the agenda is public comment. We'll give you all the time you want. So if you want to address the council, please wait and come to the microphone, provide your name and address for the record.
Frank Zeri, 35 West Franklin Avenue, open space. I know I'm ahead of the game here, but I'm looking at the resolutions here for the Martin Berry House. There's two of them. That's probably a total of about $800,000. We know how we're paying for that?
There's a grant that was provided by the County of Morris, which covers 80%. There's 20% match, which has previously been authorized from the Open Space Trust.
So 20% will probably come out of open space then?
Already has. It was identified, I believe, in the printout you were provided, yes.
Oh, okay. It didn't say it in there that it came out of.
Doesn't need to. The authorization was previously provided.
All right.
And just to
So that'll
clarify,
cover both of them then?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
and just to clarify, it's $673,040 is the total amount.
Is the total award
Of the
of the
contract.
recommended contract this afternoon.
Right,
correct.
okay.
For the construction contract.
All right, being that there are no other comments, we'll move along to the manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one question at the last council meeting that was asked about the Martin Berry House project, how long it was going to take and when the house would be available. The project is planned to be 10 months, so we should anticipate 10 months of construction. Plans are plans. I think, a little cushion might be beneficial, and that clock starts with the notification of award, which doesn't happen until after the pre-construction meeting, which would be after the award if the council sees fit to do it this afternoon. The other items are specific to the recommendation of award, as well as the amendment to the professional services agreement scheduled for later this afternoon. Thank you.
All right. There are no public hearings scheduled for this afternoon. There are no ordinances scheduled for this afternoon. Next on the agenda is items of resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
The council's consideration, beginning with Resolution R 2019-244, awarding a contract for the Martin Berry House Phase 1 and Phase 2 Rehabilitation Project to Drill Construction Company, Inc., for the total contract amount of $673,040 in accordance with the bid specifications. 2019-245, amending a professional services agreement in an amount not to exceed $28,437 between the Township of Pequannock and HMR Architects for architectural and construction administration services for the Martin Berry House Phase 1 and 2 rehabilitation in the total amount of $51,521. 2019-246, authorizing an application to the Morris County Community Development Block Grant Program. 2019-247, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. 2019-248, authorizing the transfer of 2019 municipal budget appropriations. And R 2019-249, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the December 17th, 2019 bill list.
So 246 is for the senior house roof?
Correct.
So we haven't gotten that yet, but we need all that to apply for that block grant.
And the applications are due the first week in January. A resolution needs to be included. This would authorize that.
So I saw we had a proposal. That doesn't mean does that mean we give him the job, or?
No, that was just so we base the grant application on something real as opposed to...
So will that have to go out for?
Correct. The proposal did not include prevailing wage and other bonding requirements, so I suspect the price might go up a little bit, so that's why we're making the request.
Okay.
And it will go out to bid.
Any other comments?
I was going to say, in regards to that grant, is that the same grant as the one we did with the windows?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Which we were awarded, and we're waiting, we have the contract
waiting for
documents. We're going to be completing them. As soon as that's all completed, we'll begin the project. So that should happen first quarter of 19.
Good.
Fully funded by the county.
All right. And then the only other thing I had was in relation to the Martin Berry project. I see the ones we pulled out was because of cost.
Correct.
So now to get those possibly done in the future, I mean, are there things that you can do with, like, down the line with other projects? I mean, I don't know if they qualify for Eagle Scout projects.
It's my understanding that if we apply for another...
Later.
We can put those back in.
You can put them later for
Through
future.
conversations with the architect, the priority was to stabilize the structure.
Right.
And these were things that
Right,
we could
so we can do
limit
that
out.
later.
Somebody mentioned to Dave and I that if we go to the Preservation Trust, right, Dave, didn't they say?
I think they were saying that if we could go back to the Preservation
Right.
Trust for those...
right.
We can add those back into
We
the
can add
next
those
one.
back
Something
in,
else,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
the
Because
whole-
they
the
said
whole
they're
structure-
very interested in seeing this project done.
Yeah, and once they get involved and engaged in a project, they want to make sure that it goes to fruition. They don't want to see it half done and
Right.
die on the vine. There's a historic preservation plan that was established several years ago, and really, once you have that plan, you start enacting that plan. So we're kind of marching down the line. Unfortunately, as the council's aware, the last time we went out to bid, all the costs exceeded it. That's why we
Right.
took the approach that we did this year, and we're going to be able to make the award and move
Right.
forward with it. So it's
And
good stuff.
the other thing, we need to realize is, it's great to get the free money.
But we have to pay
But we
the
still
other-
have to
we
get
have to pay the
20%.
We still have to pay that,
Yeah.
right.
And this is a large project, so
Yeah.
through the budget process, we'll be talking about whether we're going to make application in '20 for grants, and, that'll be something that we'll
Yeah, so there's a
review
lot of
later.
different things we can look at for that, because
Correct.
most of the stuff in here is still big projects that you're going to have to,
Right.
go out for grants.
How long do you think it'll be before we know if we get the roof grant?
9 months.
So there's no sense of us waiting on the windows and doing the windows and the
No.
roof together?
No.
Okay.
And that's federal money. The Morris County Historic Preservation Trust Fund is county money.
No, I'm talking about...
No, I know. I'm saying
Okay.
that's federal money.
Okay.
We were able to merge these two projects with the county money because the county consented, and the county consented in us removing these projects. When you get federal money involved, it gets more challenging to change.
Federal money is...
CDBG money is federal money.
That is
So
federal.
it gets a little hinky when you want to play with that. So
Okay. So we got to get the...
Do it
windows-
as designed.
Get the windows done.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make the motion to adopt Resolution 2019-244 through 2019-249.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Oop.
She can second.
Give that to Melissa.
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yep.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Cole?
Yes. Next on the agenda is items for discussions, appointments in the boards and commission. I think everyone has the updated list.
Yes.
The only thing that we really had was on the economic development, and we had 2 resignations that came in after our last meeting.
Yes.
And at the last meeting, we did say if we did have resignations, we had a number 1 and a number 2 and a number 3. So
Yep.
number 1 went in, number 2 went in, number 3 is not in because we only had 2 resignations. So I say leave it the way it is for now. Also, the only other change that I'm aware of is we had an open spot on the zoning board. I asked Tom Akey to move from the alternate position to a regular position, so now
Yes.
instead of having an opening in the regular zoning board, we have an opening as an alternate.
Good.
And everything else stayed the same on that, so we're good with that, if everyone's good with that.
I think I'm
Yep.
good.
Yeah, I am fine.
So everything's okay the way it is?
Yep.
Okay?
Yes, just so you know, if anything else, like you said, we'll just leave those. There might be one or two others coming, but we can worry about
You
that
just-
later. Just
okay.
leave it as is.
Thank you. That'll make it easier.
Ryan, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, we're good. Angelo, Angelo Caputo went on environmental, and he's being our appointee to go to.
Yeah, I was just double checking that,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, he's an alternate on environmental. But he's a regular member on planning.
Perfect.
There are no reports and notices. Next on the agenda is council reports and announcements. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
I really don't have anything because none of my committees met this month. They ended up canceling for the holiday. I thought my economic development was going to meet, but they did not
All right.
because they didn't have a quorum, so that is off. So I just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Hurd.
Thank you. Really, all I have is same thing. Happy holidays to everybody, because this is our last meeting of the year. And that's about it.
All right. Councilwoman Russell.
Same thing. Nobody really met. Library met. Everything's going good. They're going over their budget, which is painstaking right now. I also want to, as your last meeting, Mayor Cole, I'd like to say thank you for an amazing year.
It's been my pleasure.
It's been great watching you. You're going to be a tough act to follow, and we really appreciate all the time that you put in.
My pleasure.
And happy
I'm sure
holidays, Merry Christmas.
Mr.
Happy
Hurd will do
Hanukkah.
just as well in my seat.
I got big...
I'll be taking his seat down at the
steps
end,
to
sit
follow on
next
that
to
one.
Carol, and I'll be taking my seat.
Thank you, sir.
The only thing I had is this last Tuesday, Fair Housing did meet. We met with the new gentleman, Frank Piazza, that's going to be taking over. I guess we're going to be recommending and approving his contract in January. Yes. To take over. The gentleman that we had, Nick, resigned. So Frank seems like he really knows fair housing, and it's going to be a pleasure, I think, working with him. So that's the only thing I had, but as everyone else said, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone. Enjoy the time with your family and friends, and look forward to seeing you on January 2nd. Right, January 2nd?
Yes.
January 2nd.
All right. Next on the agenda is public comment again. If you wish to address the council, wait to be recognized, come to the microphone, provide your name and address for the record. Mr. Spazieri.
Hey, look, there. It's Frank.
Frank Spazieri, 35 West Franklin Avenue. Thank you, Dave. I think you did a great job this year.
My pleasure.
And
Thank you.
so did the council. The rest of y'all are at least with us. I have a question, and maybe this is not the right place to ask, but is there an alternate opening on the planning board?
I do not believe there is. Board of Adjustment. Zoning Board, yeah. Board of Adjustment.
Nothing on the planning board.
Hold on.
Yeah, there's nothing open
No,
on
nothing
planning
on
board.
planning.
Okay. And the only reason I asked about that is, being from open space, I think that somebody from open space should be there, because if we come up to a property where somebody wants to build on, that we're looking for an easement on, at least we have the knowledge to let them know, hey, we might want to barter here. Because normally, the planning board person that comes to the open space either makes it or doesn't make it, so it's like, there's not enough continuity as far as I'm concerned. So if there's a chance of anybody getting into an alternate position, I'd like to put my name in there.
So who is the liaison? Is it Sean?
We don't. It was Jeff
Jeff.
Muriello, but I don't think he's coming back
No, he's not.
next year, and I don't know who the new guy's going to be, because they have to pick that person to be the liaison.
the planning board has to pick.
They have to
Yeah.
pick a person and send them over, so.
Yeah.
There was an
And
internal...
most of those people that are on there don't have a clue as to what open space really wants. That's my point.
There was an internal discussion about this, Mr. Spizzeri. Ms. Marsh brought it to my attention. We chatted about it. I don't know if it came from the committee or Mr. Hurd is the liaison, but we're having a conversation about the best way for open space, either to make a recommendation to the council to establish a policy which then can be shared with the planning board, or maybe correspondence could be identified and shared through the council or directly to the planning board. There should be a way to have that communication happen. So whether it's through someone being the liaison or also having some other formal process undertaken, we're looking at that to make sure it doesn't get lost.
Okay.
In addition to anything else that, any requests that can be made,
Yeah.
but that is something that needs to be addressed, and I agree with you.
Good.
Let me ask you a question about legally.
Okay, just keep me in mind.
Would have to have someone on open space?
No, I don't think so. I think that's something we've established
Okay.
locally.
Okay.
But if there's a list of targets,
Yeah.
and Mr. Rustek and I have talked about this in the past on other subjects, if the planning board's aware of that, perhaps as a condition of approval, and there's other
Yeah.
ways to make the sauce, they could have stuff done that
Yeah.
doesn't incur cost.
It's a need.
Wasn't Rich saying that planning board is so tight as is?
All right. Anything you could do to improve the communication would be greatly appreciated. We'll work in that direction. All right. There are no minutes for approval. There are nothing for closed session, correct?
Correct.
All right, there being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?